Welcome back. Well, it's the weather and not campaign stops that is likely to dominate the U.S. presidential race over the next several days. For U.S. President Barack Obama, he was hoping to get a lift in the key swing states by having former President Bill Clinton at his side in Virginia, Ohio, and Florida. Joining us from Washington right now, we have Solon Simmons, political science professor with George Mason University. He's also the author of a new book called The Eclipse of Equality. He joins us this morning. Good to see you.
Great to see you, too.
So, Professor, the weather, the reality of Hurricane Sandy really affecting the race to the White House. How so? I mean, who's really had to make the biggest changes in terms of, what states they were set to visit?
Well, there's an eerie feeling on the streets of Washington, D.C. right now as the president returns, and I think that's a kind of a metaphor for the state of the campaign, because on the one hand, the campaigns are in total disarray. Flights are canceled. They can't campaign in Virginia, which is a crucial state. The Get Out the Vote campaign is imperiled. And on the other side, the campaign is locked down to wherever it was at a previous state. So I think that we have both chaos and fixity at this moment in the campaign. And it's not clear who it's going to benefit and in what way. On the one hand, I think that Mitt Romney has an advantage in the sense that, in general, Get Out the Vote campaigns tend to favor Democrats, especially since a lot of these likely voter models have been emphasizing people who are more traditional players in politics, the people who know their polling place. They tend to vote, and they voted in the past. And intriguingly enough, many working class women voters do not fit that profile, so are probably not being counted in some of these polls. So they might have been energized to get into this campaign by some of the recent debate about contraception and women's health, and that might not happen, or it might. We don't know. On the other hand, we have the president who has the opportunity to look presidential. Now, what does that mean, to look presidential? It means he comes home, he comes back to D.C., he's in charge, it looks like he's doing important things, which it looks like there may be a lot of important things to do, but also he gets to demonstrate something which speaks to his narrative, which is he gets to show what government can do. You know, there's all this debate about government being the problem. Well, here government is the solution in a very obvious way, and so when the president can demonstrate that, perhaps it gives him a certain kind of aura. But really, this is all speculation because we don't have good historical examples, and the campaign, we only had 8 campaign days, so many of those are simply gone. And what if we don't have electricity for the polling places? So many interesting things to follow in this story going forward.
Right, but of course, President Obama cannot mismanage the kind of emergency response surrounding Hurricane Sandy. I mean, we've seen mismanaged emergency responses before. Certainly, it impacted former President Bush. We have a former President, Bill Clinton, who we know has been working hard to assist the Obama campaign. Why? Why does Obama feel he needs Bill Clinton at his side?
Oh, Bill Clinton, the role that Bill Clinton plays, this is a funny story. If you go back to December 2010, right after the Republicans took the Congress back, there's a fascinating moment where they had a presidential news conference, and Bill Clinton took Barack Obama's place and held questions for about 25 minutes in a way that the Obama campaign, since this rise of the Tea Party, has been playing out the script of the 1990s, the mid-1990s, which was in 1994, the Congress is taken back by the Republicans, and then Bill Clinton manages to ride out the storm, if you will, and win re-election and become extremely successful. I think Obama has been trying to play that for a long time, and we saw how successful it's been when Bill Clinton gave his convention speech, which was wildly celebrated. He simply seems to be able to speak about the economy in terms that are more attractive than those that Obama can provide. So I think Bill Clinton both provides a sense of continuity, a narrative, and he's also just better at this particular piece of campaigning, whereas Obama is better on foreign policy than on economic.
Okay, I'm just reading here that the U.S. president is scheduled to make a statement regarding the latest on the storm, 12:45 p.m. General Mountain Time on Monday. So certainly he is stepping up and conducting the role that you say is, of course, critical at this time. What about the latest polls? What do they show? Is this still very much neck and neck? A lot of people say Ohio. It's all going to come down to those voters in Ohio.
Well, Ohio is the most important, but there are other places. In Virginia, one of the most heavily impacted parts of the storm is crucially important as well. Wisconsin is a very important place also. Colorado, a number of interesting states. You could do the combinatorics and the mathematics to see how these things play out, whether we get a tie or not, which is also possible. Right now, it looks as if Mitt Romney is still ahead a little bit on the popular vote. but Barack Obama has never really trailed on the Electoral College vote. And because it's the states who elect the president as representatives of the people and not the people themselves directly, it's the Electoral College that matters. And in the end, that's what will drive this. So the president still looks like a clear favorite in many ways. But again, and I suppose that's good if we lock down the debate now for him. But again, how this plays out, you mentioned George Bush and Katrina. Obviously, Barack Obama is trying to be the anti-George Bush in many respects, and I suppose he'll try to do that here on this storm as well. It might be a wide-ranging storm, and so he might have a lot to deal with. But that may just simply consume all his time for the rest of the campaign. It would be well spent if we really do have a disaster.
Okay, well, we'll watch the race and the storm, of course, as well. Solon Simmons, he's a political science professor with George Mason University, joining us. Thanks so much. Good to see you again.
Okay, great to see you as well.